Good morning, children. Did everybody get their breakfast this morning? Yeah, are you still hungry? Yeah, well, there's a few yeahs. We're going to bring out, I made something very special for you all today. All right, let's see what we got here. Do you want to find out what's in here? You want to taste it? I made it special. I mean, it's really for a farm. It's actually for the pig, but I thought you guys might like it. Anybody want a double serving? Why wouldn't you want to eat that? It's actually really healthy. It's gluten-free. No? Did you know that there is a guy in the Word that had blown all of his money? He had done a whole bunch of really naughty things, and he woke up in the ditch, and he just was wishing that he could eat the slop with the pigs. Isn't that gross? He was so hungry, and he just wasted all of his money. He couldn't go buy food, and he had a lot of money, too. He just wasted it all. You know what would make this even worse? Because are pigs clean animals? What do they normally like to roll around in? Mud. So let's add to this. Let's make this even more lovely. So if you're eating with the pigs, you get to add in some of the dirt that they've been in. And they're kind of slobbery too, aren't they? So that's kind of all going to be added in. Ooh. Are you sure you guys don't want to taste? Ugh. The grosser it gets, the more kids might want to try it. So I better stop there. You just want to see it? Let's see what it looks like. Ugh. Could you get to the point where you would be willing or even want to eat this? Well, this story is all about how we can do some things that lead us down to a place where we're really not happy people, and we don't have very much, and we're actually looking like we would just eat with the pigs. And the sad part is it's really hard for us to go, well, I had it better when I was following the Lord's commandments. So this story is a pretty famous one. It's called The Story of the Prodigal Son. And this is from chapter 15 of the Gospel of Luke, beginning at verse 11. It says, "Now a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me.' So he divided them his livelihood. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all that he had, and he journeyed to a far country, and there he wasted his possessions with prodigal living." Prodigal living means that he was just doing really bad things with his money. He was buying things that he shouldn't, and he was doing things that he shouldn't with just prodigal living. But when he had spent all, there arose a severe famine in that land, and he began to be in want. It means that he didn't have anything. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed the swine. And he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' And he arose and he came to his father. But when he was still a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck, and he kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring a fatted calf here and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and now is found.' And then they began to be merry. So the story is that he asked his father, well, you're going to give me all, half of the stuff that you own, right? So he passes it down to his children. So one of them said, Father, give me my inheritance. So he takes all of his inheritance, his money, and he goes and he spends it all and just wastes it on really bad things. Do you think that we do some things like this sometimes? Yeah, probably. A lot of the times the Lord is talking to us in these stories. He's telling us that we might do the same types of bad things. We might take things that are given to us by the Lord, like we have a lot of gifts. You guys are really, really smart, aren't you? I think you are. You guys are really smart. And what if you used your smarts to do really bad things? Is that a good idea? That's from hell. You're really good on this. Yep. So this is what the Lord is talking about here. Took his inheritance, which is kind of like our intelligence or the gifts that we have from the Lord, and he went and he did bad things with them. Now, do you think that the Lord is angry at us when we do bad things? No, but sometimes it feels that way, right? But this guy, he recognized, my father had servants that had more bread than this. Maybe if I go back to him and make myself just like one of those servants, then he'll take me back. And he wasn't planning on getting anything big or great anymore. But he went back, and what did his father do? It said his father ran to meet him, right? What did he do? And a ring on his finger. So yeah, he puts a robe on him, and he puts sandals on his feet and a ring on his finger, and they bring a cow, and you said to have burgers for dinner, which is pretty much what they did. They had a big feast celebrating it. Now this is something really, really huge for us to remember in life, because we do things that aren't so good sometimes. But it's really important to remember that if we go back to the Lord and try to do what he asks us again, the Lord is there with open arms. He forgives us. He loves us. He wants us back. So we should never be afraid to go back to the Lord, because he's there waiting for us. He's going to run to meet us as soon as we return to him. And he'll bring us into his arms. And it says he fell on his neck and kissed him, which is a beautiful way of just showing that the Lord loves us and he cares for us and he forgives us for the things that we do, so long as we go back and try to live the way he teaches us again. So instead of having to eat pig slop, you might actually get a really, really nice feast instead, right? All right.